You don't have a laziness problem. You have a dopamine problem. And your brain has been secretly rewarding you for doing absolutely nothing.
You know that person. Maybe you are that person. Someone who talks about the business they're going to start, the book they're going to write, the life they're going to build. They can describe it in detail, the office, the lifestyle, the version of themselves they want to become. And yet, nothing moves. Days become weeks, weeks become years. And the strangest part? They're not lazy in other areas of life. They show up at work. They handle responsibilities. But when it comes to their own dreams, complete paralysis. That's exactly why this video exists. And by the end of it, you're going to understand exactly why that happens, and the answer's going to make you uncomfortable. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't about discipline. This isn't about motivation. This is about your brain and how it has found a loophole. Most people who dream big but do nothing are not failing. They're actually succeeding at something, just not the right thing. They've become experts at a very specific skill, manufacturing the feeling of progress without any actual progress. Think about it. The person who talks about their business every week at dinner feels productive. The person who has 30 notes apps full of ideas feels creative. The person who watches 17 YouTube videos about starting a podcast feels prepared. And here's the dark truth. Your brain cannot tell the difference between imagining success and achieving success. At the neurochemical level, when you visualize your dream life vividly enough, your brain releases dopamine, the same reward chemical that fires when you actually accomplish something. Your mesolimbic reward system activates. It feels real. It feels earned. Research from neuroscientists studying the dopaminergic system shows that the brain responds to anticipated reward, sometimes even more intensely than actual reward. So when you spend 45 minutes fantasizing about your future self, your brain thinks you've already done something. The pressure drops, the urgency disappears, and you feel satisfied without having moved an inch. But it gets worse, because there's a specific scientist who proved that the more positive your fantasies are, the less likely you are to actually achieve them. Stay with me. Dr. Gabriele Oettingen, a psychologist at New York University, spent decades studying people who dream versus people who do. What she found destroyed the entire self-help industry's core belief. She discovered, across multiple studies, across cultures and age groups, that the more positively someone fantasizes about their desired future, the less effort they invest and the less successful they become. She called the mechanism indulging. When you only fantasize about the positive outcome, your brain treats the goal as already reached. You've consumed the reward before doing the work. This is why vision boards without a plan often backfire. This is why telling everyone your goals makes you less likely to hit them. The announcement itself provides a social reward that substitutes for the real thing. And none of this is about willpower. You cannot willpower your way out of a neurological trap. Now, here's the part that will surprise you most. People assume big dreamers are afraid of failure. They're not. Deep down, many of them are terrified of success and what it would demand from them. Psychology researchers call it the arrival fallacy, the unconscious fear that if you actually achieve what you want, you'll have to maintain it. You'll have to become a different person. You'll face new scrutiny, new responsibility, new risks. Your current identity, the person with potential, is safe. It can't be judged, criticized, or taken away. But the moment you try and succeed or try and fail, both outcomes strip away the comfortable armor of someday. Staying in the dream phase is not weakness. It is unconscious identity protection. This connects directly to what researchers call imposter phenomenon, first identified in 1978 by psychologists Clance and Clance Imes. Studies suggest around 70% of adults experience this at some point. But for chronic big dreamers, it creates a specific behavioral loop. They feel undeserving of the goal. So they over-prepare instead of starting. Over-preparation becomes a substitute for action. The gap between where they are and where they want to be widens, which makes them feel even more undeserving, which leads to more over-preparing. How many courses have you bought that you never finished? How many plans have you written that you never started? That's the imposter spiral. It looks like procrastination. It is procrastination, but it's procrastination wrapped in productivity clothing. Here's something no video on this topic has told you yet. One of the deepest reasons people stay stuck isn't psychological fear. It's social identity protection. Researchers studying imposter syndrome found that people with great unfulfilled potential often surround themselves with environments where their potential is the most valuable thing they bring. Their social group knows them as the smart one, the visionary, the one who could do something great. If they actually try and fail publicly, they lose that identity. The person with the dream becomes the person who tried and failed. If they actually try and succeed, they leave their current social group behind. They become someone different, someone their current circle might not relate to, might resent, might drift from. So staying stuck protects belonging. The dream becomes the anchor keeping them connected to where they are. This is why some people self-sabotage not out of fear of the future, but out of loyalty to their past. So how do you break out of this? First, understand what you're actually dealing with. This isn't a motivation problem. You don't need more inspiration. You need to interrupt the dopamine substitute loop. Dr. Oettingen's research gave us a tool for this. It's called WOOP. It stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. Unlike positive visualization alone, WOOP forces your brain to pair the positive fantasy with a clear picture of the obstacles standing in the way, which creates what she calls productive tension. Your nervous system stops registering the goal as achieved. It registers it as in progress, which is where motivation actually lives. Step 2. Shrink the identity gap. Don't try to become the successful version of you all at once. Researchers in behavior change consistently. Find that action precedes identity, meaning you don't need to feel like a writer to write one page. You write one page, and the identity follows. Step 3. Stop announcing the dream. Keep your next move private. The social reward you get from telling people your plan borrows from the motivation you need to execute it. Step 4. And this one is hard. Consciously identify who you might lose if you succeed. Name them. Because until you acknowledge that unconscious loyalty to your current circle, it will silently pull you back every time you try to move forward. So here's what we said at the start. Your brain has been rewarding you for doing nothing. Now you know exactly how. And more importantly, now you know it's not a character flaw. It's a system. And systems can be changed. The people who achieve their dreams aren't more disciplined than you. They aren't less afraid. They've just, often accidentally, stumbled into habits that don't let the fantasy replace the action. You now have the science. You have the tool. The only question left is whether you're going to let your brain keep enjoying the dream, or whether you're ready to make it real. If this video made you uncomfortable in the right way, that's the point. That discomfort is the feeling of your dopamine loop being interrupted. Lean into it. If you know someone who's been stuck in this cycle, send them this video. And if you want to go deeper on the psychology of self-sabotage and hidden fear, the next video is right here.